Welcome to Boot Camp Basics. In this short video, your online trainers demonstrate the most common moves used in our program. We will review proper form and alignment to avoid injury and maximize the benefits of each move. Let's get started. The first move is a squat. It's a staple move that you will see with oodles of variations in our videos, but the principles remain the same. Stand with your feet just over shoulder width apart. Keep your back in a neutral position and keep your knees centered over your feet. Slowly bend your knees, hips, and ankles, lowering until you reach a 90-degree angle as though you're sitting in a chair, and then stand back up. All the weight is in your heels, not your toes. You should be able to lift up your toes inside your shoes. It's common for people to drop their upper body versus their lower body, so you want to make sure you're bending low into your knees. To make this less challenging, remove any weight and don't drop as low. To make it more challenging, add heavier weights. The next move is building off of the squat. It's a squat jump. This time you add a lot of power with a plyometric or jumping motion. So to do this, do a normal squat, and when you stand up, you explode at the top into a vertical jump. You want to bring your arms up and tighten all your muscles at the top at the peak of the jump. Then return to the squat position and repeat. To make this less challenging, stand up and do a calf raise instead of jumping. We love plank. It's the ultimate mashup of upper body, core, and lower body efforts. It's typically an isometric move, meaning you hold the position for a period of time. Start in push-up position. Lower to your elbows. Your elbows are right beneath your shoulders. To modify, drop to your knees and ensure that your glutes are flat. Your hands can either be flat on the floor or in fists. The weight focus is actually in your biceps, not in your wrists or hands. Your shoulders are dropped and packed down to your rib cage. Spine is lengthened and neutral. Your abs are engaged and pulled towards your spine as though you were hugging your insides. Engage your glutes and thighs, and feet are shoulder width apart. Burpees are another super move and one of my personal favorites. Like the plank, it works the upper, core, and lower body, but also adds the element of cardio, making it the ultimate move. There are lots of ways to do a burpee, and you'll see these in our videos. The basic move is 4 parts: a jump, a tuck to the ground, a hop out to plank, and then a second tuck. Your jump is high to the ceiling, your tuck drops low as if you're in a ball position, and your plank is an aligned high plank on your hands versus your elbows. Your modification is to take out the plyometric aspect, meaning the jumping, so you can walk out and back in. The next move is a tuck jump. This is a very advanced move with a really big cardio push. You jump high into the air and bring your knees to your chest, slapping your thighs as they come to the top. Make sure to brace your landing with bent knees to avoid injury. You do have a modification. It's to slap your knees without jumping. Now we're moving into the strength components with hand weights. This is a bicep curl. You want to tuck the pelvis slightly under and keep your abs and glutes engaged with a slight bend in your knee. Your head and your chest are up, lifted. Don't swing the dumbbells back and forth with momentum. You want to isolate your bicep to really drive the weight up and lower it back down to the ground. This is what gives you the pumped up guns. Your next move are push-ups. This is a boot camp staple. We're starting with the modification where you're on your knees. You have a straight head and neck. Your shoulders are back and stable, and your hands are below the plane of your shoulders. You come up on your toes for the highest level. You want to make sure the pressure is actually on the outside of your hands, and your hips and your torso are straight. Go all the way down to the ground. Angle your belly button to touch the ground for a full range of motion. The more you do, the stronger you get. The next move are lunges. You want to keep your upper body straight with your shoulder back and relaxed and your chin up. It's like you can pick kind of a point at the front of you so you don't look down, and you're always engaging your core. Step forward with one leg, lowering your hips until both knees are bent at about a 90-degree angle. Make sure your front knee is directly above your ankle and not pushed out too far. Make sure your other knee doesn't touch the floor, and keep your weight in your heels as you push back to the starting position. Even though lunges are one of the best ways to work your lower body, some people tend to avoid lunges because it puts too much strain on your knees. If you feel knee pain, take smaller steps as you lunge. For jump lunges, instead of stepping forward, you're jumping and splitting your weight to land into a deep lunge. It is a plyo move. It definitely amps up your cardio, and you want to make sure all the same rules apply. Your knees are over your heels and not your toes, and you want to make sure that your core is braced. Make it easier by holding onto a bar or a chair. The overhead press. Okay, you want to stand with your feet hip distance apart. Your weight starts in like a field goal position at your shoulders, and your palms are facing forward with your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Raise your arms until your elbows are fully extended, but elbows are soft. Moving weight until they almost touch above your head. Then go back to your beginning position. Remember to breathe and keep your spine neutral and core engaged. Don't hunch your shoulders. Okay, moving into a lateral raise. This exercise is for the medial delts, or like the middle part of your shoulder. You start with your core tight, your arms to the side or in front of your thighs, then you raise your weights out to the side. You bring your elbows parallel with your shoulder, and you make sure that those elbows stay above your wrists. To help with the bend, go at about a 10-degree angle and turn your wrist like you're pouring out a milk jug as you go up into each move. Again, your elbows are soft. To avoid injury, don't lock them. Okay, moving on to deadlifts. This is an exercise for hamstrings and glutes. Heavy weights because it's a strong muscle group. Your knees are soft. You roll your weights down to just below the knees, and you squeeze glutes and hamstrings to raise your weights back to your starting position, maintaining a tight core. You want to make sure, again, that you have heavier weights for this exercise, like 10s would be very appropriate, and they just slide down the front of your legs, and you squeeze your glutes on the top. Make sure your shoulders are rolled back and not hunched. Okay, a tricep press or a tricep kickback. Your back is straight, slight bend in your knees, and you bend forward at the waist. Your head is up. Your upper arms are parallel to the floor at like a 90-degree kind of angle, and your upper arm is stationary, so it's really just the lower part of your arm that's moving. And you use your tricep to lift the weight to a full extension, and then you go back to your starting position. You want to keep the focus on your forearm. You should really feel the burn and keep your elbows totally stationary. It's like a hinge. Elbows don't move, it's just the weight coming in and back out. You want to make sure your head is aligned with your body. Upright rows. Again, core is tight, and this is going to work your traps and your shoulders and also your biceps. Your weights start together and nice and low in front of your body. Then you pull up, leading with your elbows. So your elbows are a little higher than your wrists. You bring the weights up to your shoulders, or they can stay together like right in front of your chin. Allow your wrists to flex a little bit at the top, and then you want to go back to your starting position. Your glutes can always be engaged, so keep those tight as well. Turning to the side, you'll see a little slight lean forward as you pull the weights up and the elbows come up high. Okay, last common move is a cardio move. It's high knees with a jump rope. You can use your arms or not, but you're running and your knees are going high. It works your calves, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, hip flexors, shoulders. Oh my gosh, it works everything. You want to make sure your core is tight and your forearms are parallel to the floor. You jump, raising your knees as high as you possibly can. To make it less intense, you can just shuffle side to side, and you don't have to do all the jumping. That kind of limits the high impact motion. So here we are here showing the modification, or you can just do a jump rope as if you had a no rope jump rope. Well, that's it. Let's get a workout in.